Hello and welcome everyone. As promised, I'm gonna do another class this week because I need to cover the syllabus and I also need to talk about your tests, which is next week. So welcome to CRI2101. Sorry, this is week 12. This is our second lecture this week, and today what we're gonna do, number one, I want to talk about your test 2 next week, which is only 10%, and this is something that you can do with your eyes closed because it's an open book test, for God's sake. Number 2, I want to talk about conceal claims. Right, conceal claims will be asked in your test 2 as well, so make sure that you listen very carefully, and it's very simple, very straightforward. Number 3, I want to introduce you to your last assignment, which is on the adverb manipulation. Okay, so let's go right into it. I want to talk about your test 2. It's 10%. It's very exciting, isn't it? Like Will Smith here. Okay, so your test 2 next week will be on 16th of April on Thursday in week 13, and it is set at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, it's an open book test. What it means is that basically you can refer to any kind of notes, you can refer to your materials, you can do whatever you want, and then it's only 1 hour. Please remember that it is only one attempt because it's super easy. There are 20 questions only, and it's very easy, and it's only fill in the blanks. Okay, it's very important that I highlight this to you guys, that for the test, the marks will be, or your marks will be done, or the answers will be scored through Blackboard. So I'm not the one who's marking, therefore it's very important for you to spell correctly. So if your spelling is incorrect, if it's a typo, unfortunately it's automatically 0. Okay, you won't get marks. And when we're dealing with technology, you need to make sure that your answers is accurate. Alright, so the topics that are involved in our test 2 would be fallacy of relevance, fallacy of insufficient evidence, appeal to emotion, and lastly, what we're going to cover today, which is conceal claims. And out of these 4 topics, only 20 questions will be asked. Now, I understand that a lot of in these lectures revolving these these 4 topics, it mostly deals with a lot of terminology and a lot of understanding on a few concepts. Okay, therefore, which is why we think that we don't want to test on your memorization skills. Obviously, we want to see if you can understand the concepts really. So it's an open book test. You can refer back to any kind of sources. Make sure you do it within 1 hour. Now, I understand that when it comes to internet connection, that could be a bit of a problem. Therefore, please make sure that you got a stable internet for the whole 1 hour. If you can finish early, please do not forget to submit it. Then that marks will be recorded. Okay? Alright. Okay. I've decided to do an open session for your test 2. What it basically means is that it means that I am doing a Q&A session. If you have any Q&A session, if you have any problems, please come on Tuesday, 14th of April 2020, 11 a.m. I will be providing the link on Blackboard announcement. Basically, this is not a compulsory class. I'm not asking everybody to come compulsory. I will not even teach during this 1 hour. I just that for to answer your questions if you have any. So if you have any questions regarding your test 2, if you still do not understand, I can help you with that. If you want to ask me questions about your assignment, which I'm going to introduce in a bit, you can come and ask me during this time as well. Okay, so this is basically just an open communication. Don't feel obligated to listen to it, even if you don't have a question. I will be recording this session. I'll put on Blackboard, so it's okay if you miss it. Okay, it's not compulsory. All right. So I want to talk about our topic, which is concealed claims. So concealed claims will be asked in your test too. Okay, so what does it mean by concealing claims or concealed claims? So concealed claims are when you try to cover your argument using different word choice. So basically, you're concealing your claim via using different words. Okay, your words matter. So let's have a look. Just like any other kind of fallacies and bad arguments, there are different types and different terminologies for each section. So here we have slander, we have euphemism, we have dysphemism, sorry. We have downplayer, we have outplayer, we have ridicule, and innuendos. Okay, so as compared to previous one, this is not many. So, and I think when it comes to concealed claim, it's much more evident, it's much more clearer, because some of them are really interrelated to each other, like euphemism and also dysphemism. It's opposite of each other. Same goes to downplayer and also upplayer as well. So it's basically interrelated. So as long as you can understand the differences and you know what it means, and please don't forget for your test 2 as well, you're allowed to, to look. You are allowed to refer to your material, so it's fine. Right, let's firstly talk about slander. So when we talk about concealed claim, the first thing that you should know is about slander. So slander is when you use any kind of literary device with the attempt to convince people using words that conceal a very doubtful or uncertain claims. So for example, you want to say, oh, abortion. She's going to do an abortion. She's a murderer of an unborn child. Like, if you look at it literally, obviously when it comes to abortion, a lot of people will, think about it in a very negative way, in a way that it looks like the mother is trying to kill her own child. So the words that is being used for abortion, when people describe abortion, some of people will say that it's a murder. So really it's kind of like a bit dubious, in a way that it's really impossible for us to debate whether or not abortion is a murder, because technically a fetus, which is an unborn child, is still a human being, but the state of the fetus itself, so the conclusion, it's built out from the definition of murdering people, because if we consider fetus as a human being, but really there is no argument, because is it alive yet? So that is also a part of the argument. So that is an example of a slander. I think this is a very, very famous example, and if you go online, you would see the patterns of slander is something like this: when you use words to conceal a very, very doubtful claim. Okay, that is slander. Okay, right. So we have two sides of the coin. We have euphemism. Euphemism is when you want to use the good way of saying something bad. So you want to convey a bad news, but you use a very nice way. In a way, you're being polite. But the opposite of it is when you have dysphemism. So dysphemism is the opposite, when you use something, your words are very, very harsh, very, very bad, but it's actually in reality not that bad. Okay, so we'll see. Let's look at euphemism first. So euphemism is, okay, we have a boss right here. Guys, I feel terrible. I feel terrible about what I'm going to say, but I'm afraid that I have to let you both go. What do you mean let go? What does it mean? So the friend said, it means that you're being fired. So euphemism is normally something that is associated for you to be polite. So when you're not being straightforward to the bad news and you're using nice words to say it, okay, that is euphemism. So in a way, what I'm saying is that there are words that you can use to make it polite or, better or nicer. For example, let's take a look at the associations with the word die. So you can say passed away, you can say passed on, you can say is no longer with us, you can say expired, you can say departed, we can say diseased. We could say a bit but when we want to have like a negative connotation of it, we could say kick in a bucket, say bit the dust. So euphemism is not a good thing to do. It's not a good claim simply because it's not direct. Yeah. So you want to say nice things, but it's not straightforward. Sometimes people can perceive it differently. But I must say, but using euphemism is also good in a way that is very polite, but you need to make sure that your argument or your claim or the whole point of you having a conversation, the message is being the message is understood. Yeah. So that is why euphemism is a bad claim. Okay. Now, let's take a look at more example of euphemism. Like, okay, you want to say pornography, but you say adult entertainment. You want to say beer or liquor or even alcohol, you say adult beverages. So you want to say somebody who's overweight, you say portly. You want to say late, you say chronologically challenged. It's very nice words, yeah. You want to say prostitute, you say comfort woman. Garbage man, you say sanitizing engineer. Short, you say vertically challenged. You see how people have different, how language is so important in a way of, with keep on thinking about what could be the nicer way of saying it to some people. But again, this could be a challenge because perhaps the other party, the person who is receiving the message, could not understand what you mean, and it's also unfair for them as well. That is why euphemism is not good. Okay, right, more example. So now let's talk about the opposite of it, which is dysphemism. Dysphemism is, as I mentioned, is when you tend to exaggerate, make it more negative on certain things. And it will sound a bit impolite in a way. For example, you just want to go to the washroom, but the way you say, I want to piss. Okay. Some people, okay, say magazine is a dead tree edition. So we're gonna kill you, but you can just say, I want to defeat you in a game, but you say, I'm gonna kill you, man. So look at some language, some words, some linguistics, evidence that we have here when you use dysphemism. Okay. Right, so dysphemism, we have a lot more examples here. For example, you just want to say lies, but you go and use very, very impolite words, which is like a bullshit, or, So these are some of the examples of dysphemism. Right, now let's move forward to downplayers and also upplayers. Downplayer is when you use certain words or certain phrase to minimize the significance of a claim, whereas upplayer is when you exaggerate the significance using certain word or certain phrase. Okay, so let's take a look at downplayer first. Downplayer, for example, you basically are trying to degrade somebody. Yeah? I wouldn't invite Jimmy to play drum for our band. He barely been playing for 2 years. So you're trying to make someone or something less significant, less better. But if you think about it, playing drums for 2 years, to me, it's good enough. But you are downplaying or, making somebody less significant using your words. This is an example of downplayer. Okay, so this is just some explanation to it. Okay, some people also say like, oh, he got his degree from a beauty school. So you are downgrading someone else. So it's good enough that this person has a degree, no matter what kind of, degree that person is, studying. But you can see that when the language is being used to downgrade that person, okay, he got his degree from a beauty school. So obviously from this sentence, beauty school has a very negative connotation. It has a very negative impression about, society in general. So as I mentioned, downplay is when your word here, the word degree, is downgrading or downplaying someone. All right. So now let's go into the opposite. The opposite is upplayer. Upplayer is when you exaggerate on the significance. Okay. Example. I'm sorry, I'm so late at work. I have a very terrible emergency at home. Oh no, I'm sorry, what happened? Oh, I ran out of gardenia bread and had to go to the store. So basically, this person exaggerating on the emergency case at home. So really, what this person do not have is just a gardenia bread. So you are exaggerating the emergency here, whereas it's not having bread, gardenia bread is so important. Okay, yeah. This is just, I'm just playing with you guys because you know how people are, people are at war just so that they can go and buy gardenia bread right now during this movement order. So I'm just playing with you guys. So this player is also an extreme version of a player is something that we call hyperbole. So hyperbole is when you exaggerate very, very much. It wasn't really that big. Oh, I had a very terrible emergency, but really it was just, missing out some bread. So hyperbole is something that you guys perhaps have learned in school before. Hyperbole is a part of a literary device used in literature when you are exaggerating on something. Okay, that is hyperbole. Moving forward now, we want to look at ridicule. So ridicule is, as it's suggested by its name, is when you are mocking, you're teasing, and you're doing a sarcasm to people. Have a look at this example here. Oh, cat can reason? Sure. The next thing you know that you'll be inviting them over to play poker. So this is obviously a mockery because this person is mocking. Maybe there was another people who said that, oh, cat can reason. Okay, so this is obviously a mockery, guys. So this is an example. The term is not mockery. The term is ridicule. So make sure you spell it very correctly. Lastly, we have innuendo. Okay, innuendo is when you conceal claims that are very, very unpleasant and a suggestive hint. Okay, where are you from? New York. Oh, I'm sorry. So here, the concealed claim is that what does it mean by I'm sorry here? Why? So basically, you are, pitying Harry for living in New York. So there is a suggestive hint here. So that is innuendo. Okay? So you want to conceal claims that are very unpleasant. That is innuendo. All right? Okay? So that's it for concealed claim. It's very, very straightforward. Now, I want to take some time to brief you guys on your assignment. Okay? So let's talk about your assignment now. This is your last assessment that contributes to 100% course marks. It's trying to detect any kind of adverb manipulation. So, have you seen any kind of advertisements? So, advert is very, very important in our daily lives. Advert gives you money. Now, people, especially in especially in the social media like Instagram, like YouTube, the trend on advertising has, become slightly different. Now, in the past, we have like a poster. So you have here we have a poster of McDonald's advertisement. I'm loving it. Yeah. So in the advert, we can see that the picture used to describe McDonald's Big Mac looks so big, looks so stunning. Have a look at the 2 layers of patty here. Look at how big the bread loaf is, and look at the sesame. It's like evenly spread out. So this is the expectation that you get coming from an advert. But have a look at the actual Big Mac in real life. Okay, if you look at it, does this look very appealing to you? Would you buy if you see the actual Big Mac that has been squashed when you go for a drive-thru? Same goes to Burger King. Look at this. Oh, it looks so nice, man. It's a King Whopper. Look at it. I don't know what there are with this sesame on top of this bread. It looks so evenly spread out. Look at the onions. I mean, I don't eat onions, but it looks so appealing to me. And it's just a nice amount of colors. We have green here. We have tomatoes in red. And I don't know what is this, pickle or maybe some more onions. And then we have the beef patty here and then some bread. But this is not the actual one. These are just expectations that you get from the advert because you want to sell things, right? But now if you go and have a look, you go to Burger King, if you maybe buy from Foodpanda now because you cannot go outside. Please don't go outside. Okay, so if you have a look at this, you look at how squashy it is. And look at how we can see the tomato, but it's not like properly stacked. And the lettuce, man, it's first have a look at the color between this lettuce and these lettuce. So different. And the texture of it looks a bit squash, and even the size it's decrease, shrink like twice of the actual comparing the advert and also the actual Whopper, obviously the advertisement, the size of it's double of the actual size. So these are the very, very tiny things that you discovered when you look at adverts. Okay, and advert nowadays, it's not only centered around posters. We have advert like a short clip. You know how in Malaysia we have different celebrations. So we have Merdeka, we have Raya, we have Chinese New Year, we have Deepavali, and during the big celebration, we often wait for adverts. Okay, we wait for advertisements, the video advertisements coming from big companies like Petronas. We have TMB. We have a lot of Maxis. A lot of companies are are trying to take interest of their customers using video commercials as well. And they are taking the advantage of our values and what we believe in by using our emotion to hook us with this. Maybe it's not directly looking at what they're selling, but they're looking at the moral values. But does it sell what it really wants to sell? Basically, that's my question. So what I'm saying is that the trend of advertisements or advert nowadays is changing beyond our imagination. And today we have YouTube, we have influencer on Instagram, and looking at how they take a piece of photo and put it online, and that can serve as advert itself. So basically, you don't even have to work in that particular company for you to put your advertisement. So for this particular assignment, I want you guys to be creative. So for the first stage this week, I just want you guys to go out there online and find some advertisements that you feel you want to analyze. You feel like these advertisements, you know, have a very special element that you feel like you want to analyze deeply into. Look at how the language that is being used, look at the fallacies, look at the everything, every single thing that you have learned before. But do not worry, I will guide you guys through this. I will help you with this advertisement assignment. Okay, so basically, in summary, what I'm saying is that advertisements nowadays goes beyond our imagination. I want you guys to think about it and have a look into how, you know, people or business markets, industries are taking advantage of what we have today with our technology to hook these customers. All right, so. Now, this is also particularly very interesting, and I want you guys to look at it in a very longer run. Now, in future, maybe some of you guys want to go for your degree, and then you want to go and pursue your studies in postgraduates. So when you want to when you want to continue your studies in postgraduates, be it in a media literacy or maybe in business or any kind of field of study, this particular domain on advertising manipulation is very, very, very famous, because we cannot run from advert, and it's very interesting, and it's always a very interesting field of study to keep on, you know, doing research about, because the world is changing, and obviously the nature of advertisement is also changes according to time. So as you can see here, what I'm presenting you guys are some of the journal articles that I found online, which I found was very, very interesting. And I, even though I'm not a media student myself, but I often take a great interest into looking at these journal articles, because I feel like as a consumer, I need to know to what extent am I being fooled, so that the next time I try and I want to buy something, I would think very, very carefully. Okay, so this is something that I want you guys to think about, so that maybe in future you can use the skills that you learn in this CRI2101 course, and maybe, you know, make me proud and publish an article, publish some journal articles, or even write some columns for New State Times, or, you know, any kind of newspapers, or even just post something on your Instagram. So I think this can be something very valuable in future run as well. All right, so now let's talk about your assignment. Okay, let's talk about your assignment. So for this, you have to work in the same group that you guys did for your case study. I think there should be no problem. I see a lot of very interesting chemistry coming from each group. I think you guys are very comfortable with each other, which is awesome. So just bear with your group mates for another 2 more weeks. That's it, what I'm saying. So you are required to submit a write-up or a report using Blackboard assignment tool with a complete cover page. Now, I will be uploading a special folder in week 12. Okay, 1-2 in week 12. So make sure that you click on it. I'm going to give you a template. So you just follow the template. But for now, we'll try to do it step by step. Okay, we'll try to do it step by step, and then I'll brief you guys on what to do. And you are not allowed to work on this assignment individually. Okay, even though that this is quarantine time, but I think everybody can work together as a group. Okay, it's very easy. Now, what's the objective? As I mentioned, today our customers are always easily being deceived by the adverts. So business or market are taking advantage, trying to convince their target market or target users, or that they have done very extensive research. 4 out of 5 people recommended on this, or they could just figure out what the audience want to hear and tell them about it. So you're going to be very, very careful with the words and everything else. So what these advertisements have done, they choose to use words and images that they think would appeal to their target audience, and asking them to accept their claims unquestionably. Okay, so I hope that at the end of this assignment, you should be able to learn to spot some advert manipulative tactics and why you should be very skeptical about them. Okay, so basically what you're gonna do, you will analyze, you will detect some fallacies reasoning, and also try to solve the problem using your critical analysis skills. So let me just give you some tips on how to avoid getting cheated on. Okay, so first one is that always keep an open mind. Okay, so even though, for example, you really love burgers, okay, you love double cheeseburger, for example, and when you have an advert, that talks about burgers in general, you feel very excited. Okay, so the first tips is always keep an open mind. Do not fall into the trap of thinking that a claim is correct simply because it appeals to you and fits what you think is good, your biasness. So people tend to accept any form of information that support what they believe, and they immediately reject information that they think is not tally or does not same with their own personal belief. So they become particularly very susceptible when it comes to presentation that is appealing to them. Therefore, you need to make an effort to listen to both sides and separate between facts and propaganda to actually avoid accepting inaccurate information from the truth. So the advertisements, their job is to make things convincing. Yeah. So they want to analyze you guys. They're doing a psychological tactic on you guys. They want to know you, therefore they want to deceive you. So you as a consumer having to avoid these tactics or these lies means that you are actually aware of advertising manipulation. Okay? So when you want to analyze and you want to think about what a certain company or advert did for for promoting, number one, always think about the target audience. Okay, for example, you would have an advert simply targeting on children. Now children can easily get influenced. Children are very vulnerable. They don't have money, but they have the power. Now have a look at advert, by looking at the demographic. So when I say demography, it involves age, it involves, what kind of, where you from, what income are you. So all of these can affect the advert itself. So think about and ask yourself some questions. Number one, what do you think motivates the audience to buy that particular product? Number two, what type of words that you think they use to attract them? So if you notice, maybe like a toys advertisement, there are certain language that they use. Like for example, they're selling a Barbie, like that Barbie lah, and they are using words like friends, let's be BFF for lives. Have a look at the language that is being used. Obviously, the language is not trying to appeal to the parents. It's trying to appeal to those children of what age? Okay, so do you think that tactic works for that target audience? All of these things you have to analyze and put it in a report. Okay. Next, number two, always ask the right question. So when asking the right question, you need to examine whether or not the statement is factual, or is it try to use certain language, certain images that you think to influence the audience. You ask whether or not the facts can be verified, because or are they just appealing to the emotions and fears instead of logic. Third tips is for you to cross-check. So when we talk about cross-check, is that you basically go back to the experts. Okay, you do not rely only one source that you think is correct or just one study, but look at what other people say in general. Number 4, try to consider the source. Look at the sources of the information. Can it be trusted? Does it make the source trustworthy? Those are the things that you have to think about. Okay. Number 5 is weigh the evidence. So trying to look at or trying to weigh the evidence is when you look at the credibility of the sources. Have a look at the experts. Are these experts really an expert, or is it just like a boxing champion trying to sell out some facial mask? Is it valid? Okay. Have a look at the credibility, validity of the information that is presented. Okay, like for example, 4 out of 5 dentists recommended this. So when you say dentist, is it, are they being paid, or are they are they the dentist company, or try to evaluate and try to go back to the audience and tactics. Look at if it's any way trying to manipulate the audience. Okay, look for some fallacies in the ad. So you should be able to find examples of red herring or straw man or false cause, or even appeal to the authority, maybe some vagueness. Okay, so you try to do this, try to look for evidence, try to question the statistics. Okay, just because they are putting out some statistics, one particular statistic does not mean that they are correct. Look at the date. Is it outdated? Maybe the source is citing a statistic that was done 10 years back then, which is totally invalid with what we have today. Okay? Try to discuss what it means for these fallacies to show up in a source that is so well tailored to the audience. There must be reasons why they're using these fallacies, and are they doing it on purpose? Are they using these tactics just to appeal to the audience? You have to mention it. Okay? Alright. Okay. Now let's talk about your project. Okay, the first one, your task is to write a written report on how you detect the advert manipulation based on only one single advertisement. So I don't care if the advertisement are from UK, or is it from Malaysia, or is it somewhere very far, or something very simple. I don't mind. Okay, you have to find one, and then you have to get your advert approved by me first. Okay, so then you use a template that should be available in your week 2 folder, and then you answer the questions based on your chosen advert. Okay, please bear in mind that only one representative should submit the report in week 14's folder. The due date for this assignment is week 14, the last week, on Friday 24th of April 11:59. Okay, again, I want to re-emphasize, one group, only one single advert. Okay, so that advert could be in a form of a poster, it could be a video, whatever it is, you choose whatever you think that you want to evaluate. Please remember, do not choose advert that only has symbols, logos, but no words or description, because you wouldn't be able to analyze anything from just symbol. Just do it. That's it. And nothing else to critically analyze on it. So do not do it. Third, do not choose fast food or airline adverts because it's overrated. Everybody will do it, so I'm just going to say it straightforward. Do not do fast food. Do not do airline adverts. Okay, so as I mentioned, if you want to use an advert, that like a poster that you found that is at your home, all you have to do is take a picture of it or scan it and upload it in the template that was given. And then if you want to use a video advert, make sure that the video is less than 3 minutes. Okay, so today this week, what I want you guys to do is that I have created a wiki group page in week 14. I want you to create one page, okay, and put it as advertisement, the title of it as advertisement. Now, I want you guys in your group, okay, I want one group, at least one advertisement. Put it there. If it's a poster, put a picture of the advert. If it's a video, give me the link so that I can watch it. And you need to get my approval before next week, 15th of April, on Wednesday. Okay, it's important that I approve this, because some students, they tend to be very lazy. They don't want to do it, and this is 20% of your marks, which is a lot. Okay, so I'm trying to save you before you go downhill. All right. First one, just post some examples of adverts that you think that you want to do, and then choose one that you guys want to do. Okay, it could be more than one, and then we'll discuss from there. All right. That is it for our class today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. If you have any question, as I mentioned, I'll be doing an open session next week on Tuesday. If you have questions about your assignments, or even if you have questions about your tests, let's join the discussion, and I try my best to answer those questions. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Have a good weekend and take care.